Hey, what is up, everyone? Tyler here with Secureteam. A lot of interesting news to talk about today. First and foremost, wanted to start out with a new photograph and a new discovery that, to my knowledge, well, at least I haven't featured on the channel before, but there's a lot of interesting things in this particular photo. And this was captured on the moon by China's Chang'e 3 lunar lander. And if you don't know what that is, basically, China launched this unmanned lunar exploration mission back in December of 2013. The spacecraft, which you're seeing here, which was named after the goddess of the moon in Chinese mythology, was launched and achieved lunar orbit on December 6th, 2013, where it then landed on December 14th, 2013, becoming the first spacecraft to soft land on the moon since the Soviet Union's Luna 24 in 1976. And obviously this was a monumental task because we haven't put, a lander, an unmanned lander on the moon in such a way since back in the 70s. And I always find it interesting to have landers and photographs and footage coming from the moon courtesy of other governments, other space agencies, because with NASA, you just don't know, and that's why we say NASA stands for never a straight answer. So obviously, very exciting when they landed this thing. The ramp opened up, the rover slowly but surely finally made its way to the lunar surface, started snapping pics, and this photograph in particular, which was brought to my attention, really struck me as fascinating because, as many of you have probably already noticed, there seems to be something hovering in the background, up in the darkness of space. And it immediately struck me as similar to all of these old Apollo images that we featured on the channel, where again we have these similar lights that were captured in various areas of the moon and in a number of photographs where you sort of have this eerie presence of something's up there watching. And it would appear that every time we visit the moon, whether it's with a lander or a manned mission, there's always something out there watching. And this is evident in the photographs. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this area where this object is, and as I said earlier, there's a couple interesting things I've found. We're not messing with the contrast or anything yet, we're just zooming in, and here's what we have. We have at least three distinct sources of light, whether these are reflections or these lights are actually being illuminated from within by something. But one thing's for sure, there's something up above the moon here reflecting light, and it kind of gives off this sort of green coloration. Now that may or may not mean anything. So what I did was I first increased the contrast and the brightness a little bit. So you're seeing that here. And we're definitely starting to see a shape. And the photograph doesn't lie. You can clearly see an outline of something here. And I also want you to notice the strange discoloration in the background, this dark area of space here, which should really pretty much just be all uniformly one color, but that's not what we're getting here. So that intrigued me as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the gamma, the brightness, we're going to offset it a little bit, and we're going to do our best to not only bring out this UFO, but also whatever's in the background here. Because if there's one thing we've learned from studying these old NASA images, is that in many of them, it was found that they were trying to cover up something, these structures that were on the moon that would sort of be hiding in the background. And so you would just see this black sky. But when you actually brought up the contrast, some of these things would start to become visible. And we're talking, some of these things look like straight skyscrapers, like buildings. And so here we have the final image after we've increased all of those things that we just mentioned, and this is where things start to get really strange. And, immediately the first thing that sticks out here are these, what look like massive hills in the background here. I mean, at the very least, there are variations in the background coloring. And as other people have pointed out in the past, if you're looking at a photo of the moon and you're looking at nothing but the darkness of space, you're in a vacuum, the color gradient should all be the same. You shouldn't be having these variations of light. And you can see how they have this smoothness to them. They curve up, they curve back down and level back out with the horizon line on the moon. So, they're very smooth. I mean, I can only guess whether these are actual structures or if something more is going on in this image. I can't exactly figure it out. So we'll go back over to this object here. We'll zoom in. And although now it's pretty much image enhancement overkill, we do get a very clear and crisp outline. So there's definitely something to these lights, and there's obviously a structure behind them. And to me, they look like reflections, but that's just my opinion. I believe that what we have here is yet another instance where, just as when the astronauts walked on the moon, they were being watched. And there was all this activity happening above them. Things flying overhead. Not just when they were walking on the moon, but when they were orbiting it, and when they were flying to and from it back to Earth. And all you have to do if you're new to the channel is go back through our past videos to see this. So I thought this is a very interesting image. Nowhere in any of the other Chang'e 3 photographs do we see this same object. So it, again, gives credence to the likelihood that this thing, whatever it was, it didn't stay long. And if it is still there in these other photographs, well, that's why I kind of believe that maybe this was just a light reflection, and it may very well be there in the other photographs, but we're just not seeing it due to its position, and it's not reflecting any more light. And I'd really be interested to see what you guys have to say about these 3 giant hill-looking structures sitting here in the background. Of course, many people believe that China has faked this mission. There's certainly been a question about China's so-called space missions in the past. I'll definitely give you that. There's been a few instances where, if you guys haven't seen them, China has posted these videos where apparently they are like up in space working on their own space station, just like our International Space Station. And a lot of those videos, or at least one of them, was basically proven to be fake. It was obvious that they were not in space, and that it looked like they were filming it in an underwater tank. Because at times you would see bubbles floating by, being pushed, changing directions. The Earth in the background would increase speed at different times, going extremely fast in its rotation, and then would slow down. And it just looked like they were underwater. I mean, it was obviously fake. So there is a question as to whether this is fake too, but I don't believe this is, because we've had independent space agencies also confirming and having tracked the Chang'e 3 orbiter to the moon. So they know it actually went there, and everything I see in these photographs rings true. It looks exactly as the moon looked in all of the other moon missions from all of the other space agencies. So again, it's a matter of personal opinion, but it is interesting. And I don't think that China is exempt from faking things like this or doctoring them. So let me know what you guys think. Now, in other news, I just received a piece of UFO footage that looks strikingly similar to the UFO video I posted a couple of days ago featuring the glowing object over Colima, Mexico that split up into multiple objects. And well, this new piece of footage was captured in Gilbert, Arizona, where once again we have a formation of 3 lights in the sky, and at one point, one of the lights seems to be once again releasing something or splitting into multiple objects. So go ahead and check this out.
Stop! Something. Are they like spark? I see like spark. Flares? They gotta be flares. Now it's going that way? What the fuck is that? That was fucking weird.
Stop.
Here, I'm gonna pull in here. I don't wanna get hit. There's a plane right there.
There's that, it's still right there.
Yeah, I see it. That was fast. Whatever that was. Holy shit. What the
All right, so this was sent over by a viewer who said that he was traveling westbound in Gilbert, Arizona, when he noticed these 3 objects moving in formation in the same direction that he was. And he said before he even started recording, there were actually 5 or 6 lights. But by the time he put his phone up to the window and started recording, there were just 3. And you see those at the very beginning of the video. And then just a couple of seconds in, the 2 outermost lights vanish at the same time, leaving only the 1 light. He follows it the best he can, and towards the end of the video, he pulls over, zooms in on this object, and it looks very similar to the same glowing orb or light that was seen over Colima, Mexico. What he originally thought of as what looked like sparks coming off of this thing, once he zoomed in on it, it appeared to him that this thing was dropping something. It was dropping multiple objects, or again, splitting into multiple objects, just like was seen over Colima a couple days ago. And so I'm playing this slow down here, trying to give you the best shot. And here we are again with another unexplainable. I mean, you have a formation of lights moving all at the same speed through the sky. 2 of them disappear, leaving 1, which the viewer said picked up speed after the first 2 disappeared. Picks up speed, zooms in on it, does not look like anything we can tell, not an aircraft, at which point it releases something or splits into something. And he sent it over, thought I could maybe analyze it. And yeah, I said, well, I'll definitely put it on the channel and see what everyone thinks, you know, because I firmly believe in terms of the UFO community, I think that our group here and all of our viewers in this community of 800,000 subscribers, I think it's possibly the best group of intelligent, analytical minds that I've ever seen. I mean, it's just amazing to me, all of the different viewpoints and people that have different expertise who watch our channel and who post in the comments and really work together to try to figure these things out and offer all of these alternative explanations. But I'm stumped. So big thanks to Jason from Arizona. If any of you guys live in Gilbert and have seen something similar, be sure to email me. And if you simply have your own UFO footage, no matter where you are in the world, email it over to me and I will get back to you and we'll get it up on the channel. I know a lot of you watch the Super Bowl. Atlanta just couldn't pull it off. But, you know, what are you going to do? There's always next time. So thank you guys for stopping by today. Be sure to bell me on your way out. Hit that notification bell. I've got more videos in the works. So have a good night and stay safe.